Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about Azure Kubernetes Service Automatic. So it is a new flavor of Azure Kubernetes Service which is introduced by Microsoft Azure, and this is still in preview. But this this flavor of AKS has significant differences between the normal standard Azure Kubernetes. So today we'll take a look at what it is and what are the differences between the standard Kubernetes cluster. So this session is part of Azure Back to School. So I would like to thank everyone who gave me the opportunity to present this session, and the organizers and everyone who is doing this community work. So let's take a look at what is Azure Kubernetes Automatic means. So before we dive into the details, the introduction about me. So I'm Kasun Rajapaksha and I'm Microsoft MVP and have 10 plus years in experience in Azure, and I'm certified in multiple certification like Kubernetes, then as well as Azure and other certifications. Okay, now let's take a look at what is AKS Automatic means, right? So if you previously worked with Azure Kubernetes Service, you know it is a managed service of a Kubernetes offered by Microsoft Azure. Then in the standard Kubernetes flavor, the control plane is managed by the Microsoft itself, and as a customer we need to make sure that we are managing the worker plane and the nodes. So here comes the difference, right? So in AKS Automatic, it will step another step forward, and it makes more easy for as a customer to use Kubernetes, right? So because it automate most of the components in Azure AKS clusters, right? And we will see what are those differences and what are these features. So in AKS Automatic, it is production ready by default. What that means is in AKS Automatic, it already comes with all the configurations, pre-configured with all the configuration that need for a production environment. So such as security, then the monitoring, and the node pool management, then the governance, and all of these things. So in AKS Automatic, the clusters are built in best practices and safeguards. That means it includes almost everything that you need to build the Kubernetes cluster according to your best practices, right? And you can easily deploy your application within minutes, right? So you can spin up a cluster, then you can deploy your application in very quick and rapid. And another good thing about AKS Automatic is it automates the complex cluster management tasks like auto scaling, then pod scaling, then those kind of things that need for Kubernetes, such as node provisioning based on the workloads, those kind of things, and security and those kind of things are already automated and managed. So let's take a look at some key features in AKS Automatic. So one of the key feature is auto scale with node auto provisioner is enabled by default. That means in the in the standard AKS clusters, we need to have auto scaling enabled. So but this node auto provisioning is different because it use Carpenter in the background. Then based on your workloads, it will select which node SKU or node type suitable for the AKS, that specific workload. So, and another key feature is pre-configured networking such as ingress and egress. So in the automatic clusters, it is the ingress controller is automatically enabled. So in this case, it is using Azure Manage Ingress Controller, right? So I have done a separate video about this in my channel. So if you are like, you can go and take a look at it. And for egress also, it is configured with egress gateway, right, to send egress traffic. So another feature is pre-configured security such as policy and cluster security. So in AKS Automatic, the policies are automatically enabled. Then the security like a cleaner, image cleaner, and other security features are pre-configured, right? For example, workload identity and with enter ID, those are pre-configured, right? Then when it comes to monitoring and observability, so you can use monitoring with Prometheus managed service and managed Grafana and contain insight with AKS Automatic, and application deployments also you can use CI/CDs like GitHub Action and Azure DevOps. Those kind of things are there. Okay, now let's take a look at let's take a comparison between the AKS standard and AKS automatic. Keep in mind that AKS automatic is still in preview, right? So the primary use case for the moment, it is not production ready, right? But when this becomes GA, you can hold your production workloads as well. So when it comes to the primary use case, at the moment AKS automatic is used for trial testing and development and non-critical applications, right? But yeah, because it's still preview, right? But when it comes GA, you can use it for your production workload. But the AKS standard is already using a lot of customers around the world, so it is production ready and enterprise workloads. You can host your enterprise workload. Then when it comes to the node management, that is what is the major difference between AKS automatic and AKS standard. So in the AKS automatic, it is fully managed by Azure, so you don't want to manage your work on nodes and node pools, right? But in the AKS standard, you need to manage and configure the node pools from your own, right? So some responsibilities from AKS standards are automated in AKS automatic. When it comes to control, it's less granular control and high opinionated and automated. That means most of the components in AKS automatics are automated, right? So installation of using of virtual pod autoscalers, then we have CADA enabled by default. So all of these things are automated, right? So AKS automatic is very good if you need less granular control, right? And if you need high automated environment, right? But for some reason, if you need to need high control on your AKS cluster, or you need to do a lot of customizations, right, in AKS, then AKS standard would be a good option. In scaling, AKS Automatic is fully automated, right? So using horizontal and vertical port autoscalers, right? And use node auto provisioning, right, for provisioning the nodes. And if you are using AKS standards, then you need to manually configure those auto scaling configuration settings, right? And those things are all your responsibilities. But in AKS Automatic, these are already installed and configured in the cluster, so you can use it. So when it comes to security, it's hardened security for best practices. So as I mentioned previously, most of the security features are already enabled in AKS Automatic by default. But in the AKS standard, these guardrails you need to configure, like you need to install Azure policy configurations. Then if you are using any other things, then it's your responsibility. So AKS Automatic still doesn't have a SLA because it's still in preview, but in AKS standard, it's financially backed SLA available for the control plane. Okay, now let's take a look at a demo how we can deploy AKS Automatic, right? And then we do some comparison between the standard AKS cluster and the AKS Automatic. Okay, so I'm in my Azure portal, right? So if I go to the Azure Kubernetes Services, right, then if you click create, then there's option for automatic Kubernetes cluster. As you can see, it's still in preview, right? So if you click the creation of the AKS Automatic cluster, then you need to select the subscription. Then I will create a resource group. Then give a name, then select a region, and it is enabled with the automatic upgrade schedule, so your cluster will be automatically upgraded, including the nodes and the control plane, right? Then here you can see access control, enter ID with RBAC is already configured as a default. Then if you click next, in the monitoring section, you can use container logs, enable container logs, Prometheus and Grafana, right? So let's create a new workspace, right? We'll call it as AKS Auto, right? Then click here. Then I will click the profile, login profile. I will put log and events, right? Then I will create a Prometheus workspace as well, right? So this will use to send Prometheus metrics from the clusters. Then I will create a Grafana workspace as well. So Grafana is used to visualize the metrics, right? So then I will create the default alerts as well. In the advanced mode, you can enable it as a private cluster, or if you want to use your own virtual network, also it's possible. Then if you are using AKS managed namespace, also available in Automatic. This is a new feature that is recently introduced, right? Then if you click tags, then you can add tags. Then if you click review and create, you can create the cluster. So if you have a previous experience with creating a standard AKS cluster, you can see that in here, in this wizard, we are not specifying what type of node pool we need, what type of SKU we need for our cluster, or enabling workload identities, those kind of things, enabling policy agents and those kind of things. Because in automatic, all of these things are pre-configured, right? So therefore, we don't need to do it. Then click create. Then we will wait until the cluster is created. So I will come back after the cluster is created. Now the AKS cluster or AKS automatic cluster is deployed. So let's go and see how it's look like. So I will go to the Kubernetes service. Then you can see the AKS automatic, right? So if you click the AKS automatic, you can see a major difference here in settings and configurations. If you take a look at the standard AKS cluster, for example, if you go to a standard AKS cluster, then here under the settings you can see a section called node pools. In there you can find different node pools for your AKS cluster. But if you take a look at in the AKS automatic, you don't see such setting, because these node pools are also automated and configured to work automatically. So therefore you don't manage that part as a managed service. Azure will manage the node provisioning for work node as well. Then you can see by default it is using Cilium and Azure CNI overlay, and you have enabled the auto upgrade as well and all the other settings. Okay, so let's take a look at what type of workloads are deployed into the AKS cluster, right? So if you check the workload section, then you can see very interesting namespaces like app routing name system. So this is AKS manage Nginx, right? So Azure manage Nginx, so you don't need to configure your own Nginx ingress controller. So this is a manage Nginx ingress controller. So you can configure this one with your certificates like SSL certificates, and you can use in conjunction with key vaults and Azure DNS as well. Then if you take a look at kube system, right, so you can see some very important pods that are running. For example, VPA, that is vertical pod autoscaler, right? So this is also a feature that automatically install in AKS automatic, right? Then you can see eraser. This is also available in standard AKS, but in automatic this is by default installing it. In the standard AKS you need to install it manually, right? Then you have the KDA, Kubernetes event driven autoscaler. So this is also very important service. So you can use different events to trigger the scaling of your workloads. Okay, so that's how the AKS automatic is provisioned, right? So if you take the AKS standard, right, so you can see most of these settings configurations are not there. Like for example, you don't find KDA by default, right? So for example, in kube system you cannot find KDA or VPA, those kind of pods, because if you want to use KDA in standard cluster, you have to install it. We have a add-on for that in the for standard clusters, right? Then for VPA, virtual pod autoscaler, also like that, we need to install it as add-on. And yeah, in this case I have enabled eraser, but it is a option that you need to enable it in the standard AKS cluster. And here node pools, you can see in the standard AKS cluster you can find node pools, so you can add additional node pools as you need. But in the AKS Automatic, it's not like that. The nodes are auto provisioned based on the workload type. So for that it is using node auto provision with Carpenter. Okay, and then there's another thing, another option that we can do for AKS Automatic. So for example, if you think that you need to move it to the standard cluster, then there's an option in AKS Automatic, so you can switch to the standard cluster, right? But it's not possible for you to go back from standard to automatic. It's a one way, right? So you can move from automatic to standard cluster. Yeah, so in conclusion, we can see that this is very easy and already configured everything for you in AKS Automatic. So for example, if you go to the resource group, you can see I have created my Grafana Prometheus, and all the Prometheus rules are automatically configured and everything is there for you, right? Then if you go to the properties, then you can see an infrastructure node pool. Also you can see in the background they are using the VMSs for your Kubernetes cluster, right? And you can see that there's a NAT gateway is already configured for outgoing traffic, and you can see the API server is integrated with VNet. That is by default how it's happening, right? Like those standard pre-configured production ready configurations are already inbuilt in the AKS cluster, AKS Automatic. So in conclusion, I can see that this is really good solution. So if you need less control and if you want to more focus on your application and without managing your infrastructure, then AKS Automatic would be a really good option. But if you really need to do like custom configuration and have more control over the cluster, how to do those configurations, then I would suggest to go with AKS standard, right? But in my opinion, AKS Automatic is a really cool solution to reduce the burden for to manage the AKS cluster, so you can focus on your application deployment and development. Yeah, so that's the end of the demo. So if you go back to the slides, so thank you for everyone who listening, who has listened to this session. So I would like to know your opinion on what do you think about AKS Automatic. So you can follow me in my website kasunrajbaksha.me, and you can connect with me in the LinkedIn link below. So once again, I would like to thank organizers of Azure Back to School and giving me the opportunity to present this session. And I would like to thank everyone who listened to this session, and we'll see you again in another session like this. So until then, have a good day and wish you all the best. Thank you very much.